For this next problem, you guys were to just find the inverse, and I guess you could do that in a lot of ways. I usually just switch the x and y around. So originally it was this, and when I switch the x and y, I get this. X equals negative 2 times y plus 3, and then make sure to solve for y. So I would start by subtracting 3 from both sides, then dividing by 2. I'm sorry, negative 2, and you can either write it that way or you could write it like this. Either way is fine by me. So when you put it back in g of x form, you would write it like that. Then I'm asking you to just find some, this is all that kind of notation that we use for functions. So first I'm asking you to find g of f of 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with f of 1 and I'm going to find that first. That means I'm going to plug in 1 in the f function for x. So negative 2 times 1 plus 3 would equal negative 2 plus 3, which is negative 1. I'm sorry, it's positive 1. Negative 2 plus 3 is 1. Oh, so that's just g of 1. And then that means take it and plug in 1 now for the g function. So hopefully you remember that. And when I do that, I get, ironically, 1. Boy, that's a lot of 1s. Okay. Next thing I'm going to try is I'm going to plug in, and we use the function machines. I'm going to plug in this whole g of x, which is negative 1/2 x plus 3/2. I'm going to plug that into the original equation. So instead of negative 2x plus 3, I'm going to say negative 2 1/2 x plus 3/2 plus 3. Now when I distribute in my negative 2, notice negative 2 times negative 1/2 is just positive 1 times x is positive x. Negative 2 times 3/2, notice that's just going to give me negative 3. And then I have this plus 3 over here. And x minus 3 plus 3 is just x. So I got x for that. And if you remember, that's the definition of why they're inverses. The next one I'm going to do the same thing, only this time I'm going to plug in this stuff, negative 2x plus 3, for all the x's in the g function. So instead of being negative 1/2 times x plus 3/2, I'm going to have negative 1/2 times negative 2x plus 3. And then distribute in, negative 1/2 times negative 2 is positive 1x. Negative 1/2 times positive 3 is negative 3/2. And then I still have this plus 3/2. And negative 3/2 plus 3/2 is 0. So I end up with x. All right, next problem you're going to work on is this one. You're going to graph f of x equals log base 5 of x. And then you're going to tell me how this graph is the same or different from log base 5 of x plus 2. I am going to recommend to you that you make an xy chart and maybe rewrite it in exponential form. Good luck.